Hello, this is Femi Akojeno here, John Maxwell Certified Executive Coach. In this video, I want to address those of you who have a goal, you have a vision, you have a dream, and somehow you have been stuck. You've not been able to, move forward with this dream, with this vision, with this idea, with this thing that you've been carrying in your heart, in your mind that you want to do. You've been stuck. And I wanted to address you by introducing a topic to you, and I've titled it, You Are Stuck Because You Are Trying to Start Too Big. You are stuck because you are trying to start too big. Yeah. Have you ever thought about that? Well, let me dissect this for you. Do you know that many times people get ideas? Maybe they feel like this idea can be a solution to a problem. Sometimes they have a dream. It could be a lifelong dream, maybe a dream they've been carrying since childhood. Sometimes, it's a business idea, right? A particular business that you believe would do well in your area, in your community, in your city, maybe in your country, or maybe even globally, right? For some people, it's ministry. So this idea is a ministry one, right? That will touch lives and change lives. So people have all kinds of things in them that they believe that if they do this, it's going to make an impact, it's going to help somebody, right? It's going to do something very positive in this world. The problem is many people have been stuck, right, with what they have. And one of the many reasons for that is the one I'm addressing right now. They are stuck because they are trying to start too big. They are trying to start too big. Now, I want you to look at yourself. Do you have an idea? Do you have a business idea, ministry idea, or maybe even an instruction, so to speak, a calling, right? Do you have something and you're trying to do this thing? And are you one of those people that's trying to start too big? Are you trying to start too big? Now, that may be your issue. That may be your problem. That may be the reason why you have been stuck. You're trying to start too big. And so I want to speak to you. And I want to say to you that that is not the way to go. Starting too big is not the way to go. Oftentimes, people succeed even though they have a big dream, but they start small and they walk their way to the big dream. Right? You have a big idea, you have a big vision. You want to have this mega something, whatever it is. It could be a mega supermarket, right? A global business. But you have to start somewhere. This idea of starting big is why many people are stuck today. I think I've repeated that enough. Now, let me give you some ideas. How do you get past this place where you are stuck? How do you unstuck yourself? Well, the first point I want to share with you is this. You need to start where you are. Start with what you have. Start where you are and start with what you have. That's how you do it. Start where you are and start with what you have. Many times people want to start, at one big place. They want to start with, lots of money. They want to start, you know, with big, noise. They just want to start grand. But many times, the right way to start is to start small and then grow from there. Personally, there are many things I've started in my life, and I started small. I remember starting Live Zone TV. I started at the basement of my house at a 5 by 8 space in the basement of my house, right? I started with what I had. As a matter of fact, at that time, I had no money. So, remember, I'm saying that you have this great idea, this great dream, that you start with what you have and start where you are or where you are. Well, so that's how I started. I started with my mouth. I had no money, so I went to talk to Wall Cable at that time and talked to them about wanting to have a channel, right? And they asked me if I had money, and I said, no, I don't, right? So they said, okay, fine, we can now work with you. So I was persistent. I know the dreams that I had, and I kept going until finally one day they said yes. And then when they said yes, the encoder that I started with, they donated a used encoder to me, right? And brought it to my basement. And that's how I started. No money, right? But there are some people, they have this idea that, okay, I have a vision. I need this, grand capital. I gotta, start with, millions of dollars. I have to start with millions of naira, right? If you're, in Nigeria, for example, I have to start with, millions of pounds, right? Sometimes what you need to start, you can start with nothing. You can literally start with nothing and begin to grow to that place, right? Many people are stuck because they're trying to start too big. So begin to then look at what you have. What is it that you have right now? In my case, in the case of Lives on TV, I had my voice. Some of you, you have your voice. Some of you, you have the gift of persuasion. You can persuade someone to allow you to use their space, maybe free of charge for the first 6 months. And then eventually, as you begin to make money, then you're able to pay them for the last 6 months and then, continue to pay them rent or whatever, right? Have you ever thought about that? You always thought, well, I need to have money to rent a place. I need to have money to buy a place. It could be that you can negotiate working with someone who has a space, right? And using their space to get started. It's when you begin to understand this concept of starting where you are and with what you have, then you begin to put them to use. What do you have right now? Sometimes you are able to barter your services. There are many, many bartering that I've done over the years, right? I have this, they have that, and I say, okay, let's exchange, right? Let's have an exchange here. You have what I need, right? And you need what I have. Okay, how about we don't need to exchange money? I'll give you what you need, you give me what I need, right? So sometimes you have certain, maybe you have the ability to, watch somebody's child for them, right? Maybe they have a space and you say, you know what, can I use your space? And, maybe to run a daycare or something like that. And, all your children will not have to pay for this daycare, right? They're going to be, attending the daycare free of charge. Oh, sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan, right? Just think creatively. What is it that you have right now that you can leverage, right? And be able to get what you need. What is it that you have? Start with what you have, right? And then you can begin to make your way, to where you really want to be. So I'm not going to make this video really long at all. I just wanted to drop this into your spirit, that it is not always the case that you need lots of money or that you need whatever you think you need. You can start where you are. Many successful businesses in America today, some of the billionaires in America today, guess what? They started at the garage. They're not thinking, oh my God, I need a space. I need to go and rent, this big space in one, luxurious part of town or something. They're not thinking like that. They're just saying, you know what? I have this idea and I have this garage right here. Let me clear out all these things and let me just start right here. Small, very small. And then they begin to grow the thing. They begin to grow the business. Before you know it, now it's a global business and it's making billions around the world. So quit thinking that you need this, you need that, you need all this big stuff. No, start with where you are. I remember listening to someone who has an idea of wanting to make money and support their family. And then they got some pictures of some items that somebody else is selling, and then they started posting those pictures on their own social media platforms, and then people will order right from that individual, and of course they will add their own little profit to it. And then once people place an order, then they will go and buy from the supplier with no money involved. So you didn't need to go and rent a shop for that, right, or a store for that. You don't need to have capital, so to speak, for that. You can just start posting stuff and start making money, right? There are those who do drop shipping, right? They're starting from where they are and with what they have. What is it right now that you need to do, right? That you believe you're supposed to be doing. Start with where you are and start with what you have. Maybe you are listening to me and your own call is a call into ministry and you believe that you're supposed to reach some young people. Well, how about starting with the elementary school or the middle school or the high school in your neighborhood? How about going there to volunteer, to help out in some kind of way and then to begin to have access, to begin to make an impact in the lives of those young people? You're starting somewhere. You don't necessarily have to, oh, I have to go and rent this place and I have this big. No, 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 no. Start there. There is a school right next to you. Get the permission from the principal to come in and give them some motivational, speeches, and in there share the gospel, and all that stuff, depending on the area where you are and what's allowed, right? But whether you are, sharing gospel directly or indirectly, but you are making that impact. You're starting somewhere. And you may be surprised that the same school facility may say, oh my God, we like the great thing that you're doing with our kids. We would like for you to have this room permanently, right? And you can start doing something there. You're starting with what you have. Stop thinking about, oh my God, I'm stuck. I don't have capital. I don't have this. I don't have that. You have something now. Start with that. Can I tell you another thing about starting with what you're doing, with what you have? It is that when you're doing something, when people begin to see that, wow, you're doing it with little resource, you're actually doing something, then they see that you're really serious and then they join you, right? People are watching and they're watching that, wow, with little resource, you're doing this, then they come and join you and they begin to help you. They see the vision. Many times people want to just write proposals and they just want to send out proposals all over the place and because they want to start big. But many of those people that can potentially, give you money, maybe it's a foundation or something, they're looking at you like, okay, what have you even done? What have you started doing? So if you're not going to even do anything, we can't see what you're doing. Why should we even come and join you in this and support this? How about you start with something? Let us see you doing something, and then we can join you and support you and help take this thing to another level, right? Start with what you have and where you are. Another benefit of this is that it allows you to begin to embrace the growth stages. Because every business that you see today that is global, that's making billions, right? They started somewhere and then there's a growth stage. So they grow from level to level to level. So stop thinking like, oh, I'm going to start from the top. I'm going to start grand and stuff. Many times, those who start like that, they crash. Because you see, something about growth stages is that it allows you to learn in the process. It allows you to grow gradually. It allows you to fix whatever needs to be fixed along the way. There are many things to start in anything that you have not even thought about yet. So if you go and start all the way from the top, you're going to crash. And you may never be able to recover from this. So it's better you start small and then you begin to fine tune, everything. You begin to learn in the process and you get better and better and better, right? And in that process, you've also developed credibility. People have been seeing you around and all that stuff. So by the time you get really big, you've really perfected your craft, so to speak, right? You know how to do this well, and people can really begin to recommend you and all that stuff. So you want to embrace growth stages. So starting small is key. It's important. You do it like that. Now, another thing about starting small is that it allows you to test your assumptions. Now, I'm speaking to those of you who have some dreams, you have some goals, you have some ideas, something you want to do, something you want to start, right? It could be a business, it could be a ministry, whatever it is, a non-profit organization or NGO, something that you want to start, right? But you're trying to start too big. You want to start all the way at the top. You're comparing yourself with those who have it, those who have been around for a long time. No, that is the wrong way of doing this. You need to start from somewhere, right? And then starting small and starting with where you are allows you to even test your assumptions and your market. Do you know that sometimes many people have many assumptions about what they want to do? They have this assumption that, oh, everybody wants their product. They have these assumptions that everybody would like their food. They have this assumption about many things. It is when you start doing it that you begin to realize that, oh, it's not really like that. Oh my God, I thought people would rush my product. They're not even rushing it. Thank God I didn't go and borrow millions or thousands to do this. Thank God I just started small. Do you know that that's why many companies, at least here in New York City, I will see them from time to time, they are testing their product. They could be giving you a free meat or chicken, if it's a restaurant to taste, to see how people respond to this, right? Because just because you thought that this is a good, tasty chicken does not mean that everybody think like that. It is when they begin to taste it and they begin to give you, reviews, and they begin to tell you that, oh my God, we love this. When are you going to open? We want this, we want this. And I'm not talking about your family members. I'm talking about strangers, right? When they begin to really give you those kind of feedbacks that you really know that you are in business. But imagine, you have not gotten any feedback. You have not started and tested this thing, right? That's why they do all kinds of beta testing, all kinds of testing that is done among businesses in this world. You have not done nothing, but you want to start all the way from the top. You want to start so big. Well, guess what? You're going to crash. And you are likely not going to be able to recover from this. So the right way to do this is just start small. And guess what? Any idea that you have right now, anything that you want to start, when you begin to think about starting it small, it will be more doable for you. Because the fact that you are trying to start too big and you don't have what it takes to start that big is causing you to be stuck. How long are you going to be sitting without doing nothing? Because you want to start so big. How about you just start very small? Very, very small. You have a goal, you have a vision. So start small and keep on growing, right? And then test your assumptions, test to see if this is even the right thing to do. There are many people who have started something and they have to quit it because they realize that, this is not meant for them. This is the wrong idea. This will not work, right? So when you start small, it allows you to be able to do all those testing. Now, for those of you who want to start so big and you're trying to start too big and you're stuck right now, one thing you need to keep in mind is this. Perfectionism is not the way to go. Progress is the way to go, right? Instead of you trying to be perfect, some people think, oh my God, everything got to be perfect overnight. Like the very first day, everything got to be perfect. No, focus on progress and then grow, right? Progress is key. The fact that you even started, I don't care if it's in a small place in your living room, right? Do you know many churches today, for example, who started in their living room? That pastor believed that he's been called into ministry, and instead of like, oh, I got to look for a space. No, if this is ministry and God has called them to start, they start in their living room. They invite people to come. They start a little fellowship. The next thing you know, it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows. And the people that are there now begin to help to support what this individual would not have been able to do. The crowd in the living room are now the ones that will say, hey, let's mobilize ourselves together. Let's go and make this thing happen. And then they begin to make it happen. So this whole concept of you wanting to start so big, so grand, and do it, so big, please stop that, because you're being stuck. It's been causing you to be stuck, right? Focus on progress instead of perfectionism. Now, the other thing too is this. Some people, they are stuck because of over planning. Plan. Now, planning is good. Please don't do anything without planning. But don't do over planning, right? When you plan, you never start. You never get up and start, right? You've planned, right? You must plan. And then after you've planned, then start, right? And then move forward from there. Also check out some fears that you may have right now that may be masquerading themselves as preparation, right? Sometimes that over planning is all part of the fear, right? You plan. Oh my God, how many years are you going to be planning for? It's about time now. Just start, right? So that's for those of you who have been planning. It's time to, get up and begin to do something. All right, I'm going to stop there, but the idea is this. That thing, that vision, that dream, that goal, that ministry, that NGO, that non-profit organization, that business, that solution, whatever it is that you have in you now, don't focus on trying to start too big. Start with anything you have right now. Start with what you have. Do you know that when you begin to assess what you have, you begin to really think about what you have, you'll find out that you have one or two things. Start with one or two things. If all you have is, okay, you have a phone and you have a social media account, well, if it is to post something for now, that's how you start, then start that business that way, right? If you are going to just do drop shipping for now, then start it that way, right? Eventually, you'll be able to raise the capital. You know, many people always talk about capital, capital, capital. You know, capital is not just money, there's human capital, right? There's also the capital of your network. Sometimes you have some goodwill, right, among people that you've been good. They know you well. They can vouch for you, right? There's the goodwill capital. There's all kinds of capital. And I did a video on this, right? So there's all kinds of capital that you can use apart from money capital. Don't think that's it for you because you don't have money. There are other things to use. I've done many things in life without money because I use other capital, right? So I want to encourage you, don't give up on your dreams, but don't be stuck because you're trying to start too big. Start with where you are, start with what you have and where you are right now. And then you can gradually grow. And one day your vision will become a reality. Your dreams will become a reality. Your ideas, it will take off and you become what you've envisioned that you become. Thank you for watching this. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and share this and also subscribe to my channel. And of course, comment, like, let me know what you think about this video. Check out my website as well, femiakujeno.com, for many of the things that I'm doing, seminars that are coming up. I also do one-on-one coaching. If you're interested in that, reach out to me. I'll be glad to coach you. Thank you very much for watching.